Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to TCI Express Q2 FY22 results conference call hosted by ICICI Securities. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Abhijit Mitra from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yes, thanks, operator, and good afternoon, good evening to all the participants. So we have with us today the management of TCI Express to discuss Q2 FY22 results. We have representing the management Mr. Chandar Agarwal, Managing Director, Mr. Pavitra Panda, COO, and Mr. Mukti Lal, CFO. So without further ado, handing it over to Mr. Chandar for his opening remarks. Over to you.
Thank you, Abhijit.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Q2 Financial 22 earnings call of TCI Express Limited. I would like to thank you all for joining us here today. I hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. I will first start with the industry and business overview for the quarter, and then we'll hand over the call to CFO Mr. Mukti to discuss the financial performance of the company for the quarter. Our earnings presentation has been uploaded on our website and stock exchange, and I hope you've had a chance to review it. The overall macroeconomic scenario improved in the second quarter, and business was able to recover quickly from the initial shocks of the second wave in the first quarter. In Q2 Financial 22, we saw a pickup in the economic activity and broad-based recovery was visible. Recovery trend was visible in both the data for index for industrial production and e-way bill generation. During the quarter, we saw overall improvement in the output for the month of July and marginal decline in August. The manufacturing index was up by 10.5% in July and 10% in August on year-on-year basis. Another factor which helps us in gauging the performance of the logistics sector is the generation of the e-way bills, which, after a decline in previous quarter, demonstrated significant growth during the quarter. Overall, the e-way bill generation was up by 41% Q-on-Q, 19% YOY, with July registering 6.4 crore, growing consecutively to 6.6 crore in August. The overall economic recovery had a direct impact on the performance of the logistics industry, and as a result, after having a subdued first quarter, the logistics industry recovered quickly in the second quarter. TCI Express, being the market leader in express logistics, continues to deliver strong performance during the quarter, with total income of 276 crores, registering a growth of 29% year-on-year and 23% sequentially basis. The top line growth was primarily driven by the SME customers. Our EBITDA was 48 crores, with margins increasing to 17.3% as compared to 15.9% in Q2 Financial 21 and 15% in the previous quarter. The EBITDA and margins growth was primarily on account of, one, higher capacity utilization of 85.5% in the quarter as compared to 83.5% in Q1 Financial 22 due to the growth in key service areas of the company. Secondly, improvement in overall operational efficiencies as well as higher demand on account of festive season. Third, also we've been able to increase our footprint by opening 15 new branches during the quarter, mainly in the South and West region, to cater to the growing business demand from the SME customers. During the first half of the year, we have incurred a total capex of 46 crores, which has been really spent towards construction and automation of sorting center in Gurgaon and Pune. The construction of Gurgaon sorting center is going as per plan schedule and will be operational by the end of Q3 Financial 22. Our Pune sorting center, which has been fully operational since June 21, is helping us in reducing the turnaround time in the region. From a balance sheet perspective, we continue to maintain strong capital structure with our cash and investments increasing to 100 crores at the end of September 21. In view of a strong performance in the first half of the year, I am pleased to announce that the Board of Directors have recommended an interim dividend of Rs 3 per share with a payout of 150% on the face value. Our recently launched Pharma Cold Chain Express and C2C Express services are going strength to strength. We have been able to deliver 1 crore vaccines at the end of September 21 through our Pharma Cold Chain service offerings. We expect both the service offerings to contribute meaningfully to the top line in the forthcoming quarters. We at TCI Express strongly believe in working towards providing more value-added service to our customers in a cost-effective manner. As air cargo is on a decline due to its higher cost, which is not sustainable in India, we see a vast opportunity to fill the gap at a lower cost service with the effective service offering of the rail cargo. With this in mind, I'm delighted to announce that we have launched our new offering called Rail Express, which is a unique service offering to provide high value service at a lower cost, and it is already gaining enough traction amongst our customers. Now, I can proudly say that TCI Express is the fastest growing multimodal express delivery company in India. Looking ahead, the logistics industry is going through a lot of transformation as the government has identified it to be a key factor contributing to the growth of the country's GDP. The recently launched PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, launched by our PM, is a testament to it and is aimed at seamless movement of goods in the country. And overall infrastructure development, as well as improve the quality and ease of doing business. I strongly believe such initiatives act as a catalyst in driving demand to the remotest corners of the country. As the economy gathers pace on the back of various government initiatives and mass vaccinations, ongoing festive season, and strong rural demand, this is expected to drive in the near term. We remain confident of our superior value-added service offerings as well as leadership position to capitalize on growing opportunities and deliver sustainable growth consistently in the upcoming quarters. With this, I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Mukti to discuss the financial performance of the quarter.
Yeah. Thank you, Chandra sir. And now I would like to discuss the financial performance of the company. So during this quarter, our revenue from operations stood at 274 crore rupees and for Q2, and as compared to 223 crore in last quarter and 213 crore in Q2 of last year. And translating into a sequential growth of 23% and 29% year-on-year basis. This significant growth can be attributed to multiple factors like growth in demand from SMEs, higher capacity utilization, increased demand from rural areas, and festive season. Overall, the total income for the first half of the year stood at 500 crore rupees as compared to 305 crore rupees last year, posting a significant year-on-year growth of 64%. So we also witnessed a significant improvement in EBITDA and margin as well, and EBITDA stood at rupees 48 crore with the margin percentage of 17%, and it is surpassing the full year of FY21 margins. Sequentially, the EBITDA growth was 41%, and on year-on-year basis, it is 40%. This improvement can be attributed to robust growth in top line as well as improvement in overall efficiency. I am happy to report that for the first half of the year, our EBITDA was rupees 81 crore as compared to 37.5 crore for the same period last year, and we have now been able to surpass pre-COVID levels. The net profit for the company in Q2 was 34 crores with a margin of 12% plus as compared to rupees 24 crore as a margin of 10.5% in Q1 of FY 2022. and rupees 23.5 crore and margin of 11% in Q2 of last year. Overall, the net profit for the first half was 58 crore rupees with a margin level of 11.6% despite challenging condition in Q1 of this current year. For the first half of the year, we have incurred a capex of rupees 46 crore towards construction and automation of our new sorting center at Gurgaon, as well as towards ramping up our IT infrastructure. I am happy to report that we are completely on schedule to make this sorting center fully operational by this Q3 end, which will result in improving the turnaround time in this north region and further improve the operational efficiency to drive growth and profitability. Our Pune sorting center, which is already operational since June 2021, and as I communicated earlier, we are keen to take the learning of our Gurgaon sorting center and then we'll go for automation at our Pune center. So our key strength is our asset-light model, and as a result, we continue to maintain a strong capital structure and strong balance sheet. I would like to highlight that for the first half of the year, our cash and investments stood at rupees 100 crores. And going by the improvement in macroeconomic scenario of the country, improving demand trends, and active participation of the government in improving the overall connectivity across the country, and ongoing festive season, I am highly optimistic of further improvement in our capacity utilization, higher contribution from our new offerings like Pharma Cold Chain, C2C Express, and Rail Express, as well as overall operational efficiency, which will be reflected in our financial performance in the forthcoming quarters. Thank you very much, and now I would like to open the floor for question and answer. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who has a question may press star and 1 at this time. We have the first question from the line of Alok Deora from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir, and congratulations on a great set of numbers. Just few questions. If you could just highlight that in the growth of around 28%, how much would that be through volumes?
Yeah, so it is through volumes is around 26%.
Okay, and what would be the absolute volume figure for this quarter?
So this quarter volume figures are 2.2 lakh ton.
Sure.
And for the H1 it is 4 lakh ton.
Got it.
Yeah.
And also, sir, the margins have improved, to nearly 17% now, 16.6% core EBITDA margin. So, what's the outlook there now? Because we have seen, sharp increase in diesel prices, especially after September. So, how are we viewing the? I understand that the volumes may be high due to the festive season. But how are we looking at the margin picture now from a 2-3 quarter perspective?
So government has given a guideline already that for this quarter the GST collection will be more than 1 lakh. So it clearly that is a very positive factor. So I think looking at that, I see that the business should be robust and we would be able to pass on the pricing quite effectively, the diesel hikes very effectively.
Sure, sir. And sir, in the presentation also, it is mentioned when you briefly mentioned about this Rail Express. Could you just elaborate a little bit on that? What is the business like and how much it could contribute and what exactly we are doing here? And is any other player also doing anything of this sort?
So the kind that, the business that we usually do is express, which means that, and it's not full truck or it's not, it's LTL going in rail, which means that, it's time definite and it's assured delivery in an assured time. So this, what it's done is that we managed to convert a lot of the air cargo customers into the Rail Express business. and this is something that nobody else has been able to do. And this has a good following and a good coming and good acceptance in the market, which I feel in the long term will play out really well. The way air cargo is going ahead in today's time, it's not going to have a very bright future in times to come. It may have had in the year when there was no highway, there was no road traffic because of the lockdowns, but that was just a one-off thing. And in time to come, if the crude price hits $100 a barrel or more, it will not be sustainable for air cargo. So I think that market, it clearly shows us that that business can be converted to rail quite easily, because the rail speed is faster than surface. However, the pricing is not as high as air cargo.
Sure. So just one last question from my side. So we have been giving guidance of around 35 to 40% growth in FY22. So any change in that, or we would kind of retain that number?
So no change in that.
Sure. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, and all the best, sir.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rajesh Kothari from AlfAccurate. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Congratulations for a great set of numbers, Chandraji and your team, and Mr. Mukti. So just two questions from my side. Can you bit more color on terms of the new initiatives which you talked earlier, during the last couple of conference calls, in terms of the pharma as well as the many other subsectors, and how are you seeing traction on that side? That's number one. And number two, that consolidation in the industry, are you experiencing the consolidation in the industry? That's number two. And number three question is primarily on the digital initiative side, because I keep seeing a lot of advertisements on the various social media platforms. So if you can give a little bit more update on that how we are further gaining the market share using the digital as an initiative.
Thank you, Rajeshji. Pleasure speaking to you again. So answering your question, pharma, the new business pharma, cold chain, and all the new initiatives are going pretty strong. I mean, the way we have positioned it and the way we are driving our plans, it is actually showing a very good traction. And since we are also, in a way, first movers, we got that advantage. Consolidation in the industry, I think it's happening. It's such a large industry, it's not visible the way it should be. It's very hard to say because 95% is unorganized. And with that notion, real visibility is difficult. But I can tell you one thing, that our establishment is a tough time in this environment. The third question, digitization. See, we were the first company in India to come out with, the usage of ERP and having in-house IT team and all of that. So we are, well versed and well equipped with all that is required. This is something we don't see as a defining moment for our business. Our business is more of more than the IT that is being that we are using. IT is the backbone, is the pillar of the operations and everything, but it's not something which I will use it as a tool to project the company being different or better or something.
Great, sir. Thanks. And over the period of say next 2-3 years, how do you see the new segments contribution to your the current revenue?
If you see the investor presentation, it is mentioned that they will contribute about 1/4.
Your voice is breaking. Chandraji, your voice is breaking actually.
Then 1/4 would be, I think, if you see the investor presentation on the website.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from the line of Ravi Naredi from Naredi Investments. Please go ahead.
Chandar, again, thank you very much for nice result. Will you tell what is the rail service? Will you describe how this work and everything?
Mukti?
Sorry, come again, please.
What is rail services which we are going to start or we have started?
Okay. Yeah. So this is again is a small cargo we will be carry through this rail services, and it is again point to point. So supposing my one branch in North collect the cargo and deliver in East India. So we will pick from customer door, then connect with this passenger train basically, and then deliver to their door. So it is basically substitute of this high cost of air cargo into rail, and in a very cheaper rates.
Okay. So it will be like B2C, right?
So it is again B2B.
No, B2B only.
Only B2B.
Okay. Chandar, suppose Indian GDP is double in next 5 years, then what is our target for our industry? How it will grow?
So our industry will be $1 trillion by 2030. Okay. So $1 trillion and road will be 70%, which means it will be a $700 billion opportunity. So I think it's going to be massive. Okay. That is why we have to expand our branches. We are lean. We have the speed. We are putting all this automation to capture all the business. So we are planting the seeds now to capture that.
And out of 700 billion, how much we are targeting as a TCI Express?
We'll do about 15-20% of that. So already our market share has gone up by almost 3%. So definitely, we will look at that 20-25% for sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nice. Everything you are doing in wonderful way. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Preet from Wealth Finserv. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So just a couple of follow-up questions. One is, was there any price increase taken in this quarter?
Yeah, in this quarter we had taken almost 1% price hike only, because again this price hike depends on how much contract come for. So that way we have taken is a 1%.
Right. And what is the outlook for October, given the kind of high business growth we are seeing across verticals?
Yeah. So this even, if you see the track record of last 5 or 7 years, usually our H2 is much robust than the this H1. So this whole quarter would be fantastic, even H2 also.
So the reason I asked is that I was reading the recent reports where Gati, for example, has said that they are increasing the network by 15-20% and so on and so forth. So has there been a requirement for TCI Express to also increase its network?
That statement itself shows that they are in trouble, because they are not even prepared that they are expanding their network now.
Right.
So it means that they are in trouble, and they have to do investment and they don't have the money. So I think it's so obviously it's totally opposite of where we are.
Right. So you guys feel you're fully prepared to take advantage of this growth that is going on, or increase in business coming your way?
Absolutely, and we have not invested anything in capacity expansion or rerouting the network and all that, which they are doing now.
Phenomenal.
They are in serious trouble because they don't have the know-how anymore.
Right. Similarly, one other thing, the rail express thing you're saying, would this compete against the LTL of TCI?
Not at all.
The differentiator here is going to be the package size?
Yes, this is express, so very different. And TCI does FTL. I mean full rakes.
Got you. Okay. All right. Thank you, Chandraji and Muktilal.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from the line of Jitark Shah from GMFL. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, many congratulations on the great set of numbers. I just had like two questions on, competitive side. So I have been observing, in the startup space also, a lot of companies are entering into, trying to enter the full vertical segment of last mile as well as fulfillment and first mile. So do you see them as a threat in terms of, taking away any share of your customers? That's going to be my first question. And second is going to be like, how do you intend, like in terms of your strategy on onboarding newer and newer set of customers, and who and what profile will that be? Like, will it be more on the MSME front, which accounts for your 50%, or will it be the rest of them?
So let me say that we don't have any new entrant coming in the B2B segment. B2C there could be, and so we are not really concerned about that. Second question, will they take market share? Will we have, how are we going to grow our business? Yes, it will be through MSMEs and it will be through, the top 1,000 customers of India.
Okay, sure.
Manufacturing companies, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Krupashankar NJ from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening and thank you for the opportunity. Just a couple of questions from my side. One, on your guidance for FY23, does it still hold at about 18 to 20% growth, or would you like to revise that number upwards?
No, we are stick with those numbers, yeah. 18 to 20%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, taking it a little bit forward, how are you seeing, what are the key sectors wherein you are seeing this growth would come in? Not speaking specific to the MSMEs, it's more on sector on automotive or textiles and other large sectors which we cater to. So which are the key sectors which is going to contribute to this growth?
Yeah, Chandra sir?
So I think in all, if you see that we are very well diversified, we don't have any prevalence in one sector. So all sectors will be contributing, and I don't see any one sector like last year where pharma was contributing more. So nothing like of that sort is going to happen this year.
The reason why I asked this question is because you've also expanding your branch network quite quite some time, and therein you would have targeted specific subsectors. So in respect to that, I just wanted to check if
no, we don't target subsectors or something like that. We target our main verticals that we are in.
Okay.
And most manufacturing is happening in those verticals only.
Right. Just to add on to that question on competitive intensity, so the recent acquisition of Spot-on Logistics by Delhivery, how have you seen the competitive pressure in terms of pricing and in this space, and do you believe that it's going to be a threat given that Spot-on was almost like the fifth largest surface express player in the country? So just wanted to take your opinion on that.
I'm sorry, what was the last sentence?
Spot-on is close to about fifth largest surface express player in the country. So just wanted to take your opinion on how you are seeing the competitive intensity in this
you have
changing.
To see you have to study the competition or any company in detail and not by what they are announcing in the news. So if you go in detail and see, they do not have any hub and spoke network. They don't have any infrastructure. They don't have any manpower. So I think you have to, and also see that it was sold off in 2005 by TNT to a bunch of investors, which the investors have now sold again. So who is the head? Who is the father figure of that business? No one. So with a company which is operating in India in such a dynamic environment, we have to have stability. And most of these companies will not show stability. And if you look at the pricing that they have, they're competing with FTL and FTL players and very low unorganized players. So it's okay if they're doing that.
All right. Okay. And any guidance on the margin side where are you expecting margins to hover in FY 22 and 23?
Yeah. So in 22, we will be again have a aspiration to be, increase at least 150 basis point for 22. And by 2025, we want to be, cross around 22% in EBITDA level.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. That's it from my side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Soni from SMIFS Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, my question is related to this Gati Shakti program. I want to understand, like in last few years, railways has lost its share to compared to this road transports because road transport offer a better service in terms of shorter delivery time, while the railways there used to be higher waiting period sometime for these wagons. So going forward, like government is focusing on increasing the railway share. So I want to understand how this is going to impact the TCI Express or other companies who were mostly running on road transport before.
Road transport will always remain number one mode of transportation in India. Rail cargo will be a very good substitute to air cargo. We are seeing that air cargo is being substituted by rail already, and we are the first company to do that in a big way. So there is where our strength lies. Thank you.
And regarding that price hike which you have taken 1%, so was that sufficient to cover the fuel cost hike during the quarter?
Yeah. So you have seen that, our operating margins are, maintained or even increased sequential basis also and year-on-year basis also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I will come in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Alok Deshpande from Edelweiss Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Chandar. Good afternoon, Mukti sir. Two questions. One, if I heard you correctly, you said the volume growth year-on-year was 27%, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I just wanted to understand this a little better because if you look at the diesel prices, if you compare the Q2 of this year to the Q2 of last year, the diesel prices are up about 20%, average for the quarter. So, I just wanted to understand this breakup a little better because the sales are up about 28% and you're saying that 27% of that is volume. So how should we think about this?
Yeah, so again, because, this is also composition of various aspects of like how, what are the lead distances we covered in this quarter, what kind of, which sector we had done the more business, like, pharma or like engineering or auto. So various, dynamic factor is here actually. So we are just giving the, whatever we have improved on a realization per unit. And also, sometimes depends how much business we have done like, intrastate or interstate. And another aspect you also, see diesel is part of our cost and we usually, so it is not impacted like other companies has impacted by that because we have a vendor management and we have our own system to be, pass on to vendors with a time lapse. So we are not passing on to immediately even, again, earlier we also said, this is sometimes is a, very good positive arbitrage for that. In terms of that, we delaying some time to, passing on the diesel hikes to my vendors and, immediately passing on to customers. So, various combination and permutation is there in this aspect. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. And my second question is on the slide that you have in the presentation regarding the strategic goals that you have set out for the next 5 years. These 4 new businesses that you have mentioned, pharma, cold chain, and rail express, and a couple of others. What would be the share of these businesses right now in the top line?
So if you put together, share is around 15% right now. And after 4 year or 3 year, we want to be make it like as mentioned by Mr. Chandar, we want to be 1/4 of total revenue.
Okay. So if your 1,000 crore revenue goes to 2,000 crores, you're saying that this will be about 500 odd crores, roughly. That's the goal, right?
Correct understanding.
Okay. And just one last question on specifically these two businesses of Pharma Cold Chain and Rail Express. Now, currently you have this model where your return on capital is exceptional, margins are great because operating leverage kicks in. I just wanted to understand the dynamics of these two segments. Are these will these businesses require capital? What are the general margin range and what is the return on capital on these specific businesses?
Yeah. So basically, if you see, our DNA is to make it always everything has to be, asset light. In these two segments, we are also following the same rule, and we will be keep ourselves as asset light. So we don't need to be put any additional capital here. You can see also our balance sheet of this quarter or this half year. We have nothing changed on a part of assets or current assets and current liabilities. And second thing, margin level in the rail and pharma cold chain in both are very high. Because why I am saying, because this is substitute of air. Like rail is a substitute of air one. So everybody is willing to pay higher, and even with the what kind of service they get, we are also able to provide in through rail also. So this way is both margin level are very high, even more than surface right now we have. And that's why we have aspiration to have around 22% margin level by 25 end.
Okay. So to summarize, so you're saying that because these businesses are higher margin, when your share of these businesses go up from 15 to 25, naturally the blend will change and your margins will benefit from that, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Perfect. Thank you so much, Mukti. Thank you, Chandar.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kunal Bhatia from Dalal & Broacha. Please go ahead.
Sir, thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on a very good set of numbers. Sir, you did mention about the opportunity size of about $1 trillion by 2030. Sir, currently looking at the opportunity size, which is at about 360 billion odd in case of logistics, where we are about 5% market share. So, do you refer to that same kind of a graph, or is there something which I'm missing out? Because you mentioned that you want to capture about 15 to 20% at that time.
Yeah, so that is correct, and we've inched up from 5 also. Now I think we're at about 8%, and I think as the business grows, we'll keep capturing more market share too.
Okay, and so when you talk about the market share, you mean to say the value carried by TCI Express?
Correct. Always. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, and my next question would be in regards to the new launch of this Rail Express business. You did mention in case of the other the cold chain business and the C2C Express, we have about 20% plus kind of EBITDA margins. Does that also hold true for Rail Express?
Correct.
Okay. And so just wanted to confirm, sir, last year same time the volume was 1.8 lakh tons, if I'm not wrong.
Just hold on. Yeah, I need to see that. So you can confirm me on one-to-one basis.
Okay.
I will be confirmed, please. You send an email to me, yeah.
Okay. And so for the current year, what would be your after this there is expectation of no third wave. So what would be your guidance for this year? Any change on that?
No, we don't have any change on that, and when we are on the right path, and we will be achieve what we have said in initial inception of this current year.
Okay, so that would be about 25 to 30% kind of growth for the.
Even more than that, the revenue growth and margin profit would be also again kind of 40 plus kind of percentage.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Prateek Singhania from Sage One Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Good evening. Thanks for allowing. So my first question would be with respect to the difference in the level of operating efficiency and turnaround time between a non-automated and an automated sorting center. Say if you can compare it with Pune with the Gurgaon sorting center once it gets automated.
Chandra, sir?
So basically, what we are working on is the different scenarios. It's something which, we have to work out the modeling. We're doing the modeling currently as to, if North India, all the vehicles come at a certain time or all the vehicles from rest of India come at a certain time. So it's a lot of modeling which is going on. Our aim is to cut down the latent time by almost 8 hours. So looking at that, I'll be able to give you a better answer by January of next year.
Okay, so 8 hours on a base of what? How many hours?
Yeah, from currently it is around 15 hours, so we want to be just half of that.
Okay, that means 50%
of idle time in sorting center. So, cargo is in and out in sorting center, and this is took around 15 to 16 hours, which we want to be cut a half. And this way, what happened? My truck trip will be increased because then we will be, engage them very fast. We will be empty fast and then load fast. Ultimately, they will be able to make a more trip in a particular month, and obviously then we will be get a benefit of here.
Okay. And secondly, with respect to the Rail Express, so in terms of, say, if I could decide from one route to another route, I have to send it via air versus Rail Express using TCI service. So how much will be the difference with respect to the time taken to deliver and how much would be the difference in the cost for the same like-to-like route?
Yeah. I think cost would be, less than 1/3 of that, what air services is providing. And time gap is not there. Even supposing we are offering service of 48 hours for air, we can be max to max is given within 72 hours, or in some cases even in 48 hours. Because rail is also, we have very good flexibility and number of trains are very high, and they are also right now is very, they follow the complete tight schedule. So that's why this opportunity has come out, and we are grabbing that and enhancing our branch network. Because branch network is also supporting to get the customers across India. Yeah.
Okay, so 1/3 of the air freight is what we charge. And so last question, with respect to the new value-added services, you said that currently it is 15% of the total turnover, right?
Yeah.
So this 85% balance, like-to-like YOY growth, how much was it? The balance 85%, the traditional business that we do, the growth for that like-to-like.
YOY, this is around 25%, and new services are growing with faster pace.
Okay, 25%. This is what value growth?
Yeah, on YOY basis.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the answer. All the best here.
Thank you. Next question is on the line of Dipesh from Equirus. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thank you for taking my questions. So just a clarity on the Rail Express services. Did you say that you will be using the passenger rail for this cargo transportation?
Majorly, yes.
Okay, so passenger rail, you'll be transporting the small size cargoes along with the passenger train, right? And that is how it is going.
We have 1 or 2 rack in every passenger train, and we are majorly using that.
Okay,
and
that is great.
Wherever is cargo train is available, we are also using that.
Okay. So any plans to leverage the existing the group company JV with Concor, or you'll be doing it separately?
No leverage with them, and it is we are doing separately. Because there, touch point is also completely different. Supposing we want to be sent from south particular city Madurai to Chandigarh.
Right.
So we have to be using different model and different train and everything. Like from Mumbai to Patna, supposing we want to be sent, this is completely different. And what our other group company is doing, they are differently in a different segment.
Got it. And sir, what are the margin differences in the air express and the rail express? As you said, like most of the demand will be like transferred from air to rail, right? So what is the margin difference in these two?
So margin is slightly higher in rail express in comparison to air, because customer is willing to pay in air, in rail, because still it is a cheaper of like 2/3 of that, no?
Okay, so any number, like how much is it? 25%? Like it must be higher
Yes,
than
in the range of 20 to 25%.
Got it.
EBITDA.
Got it, sir. And then lastly, your capex, you've already done 46 crore till the first half. So what is the capex at in the full year, sir?
Yes, so we are in line with that. We have planned for around 80 to 100 crore rupees, and we will be incurred that.
But mainly towards the Gurgaon sorting center only, or anything else is also planned?
So anything, other acquisition of land we are planning to acquire the land in Kolkata and Mumbai. So I think this will be, Kolkata land will be, very soon it will be materialized. So we will be acquire that. And we will be start the construction like we mentioned on last call also. We will be start the construction at, Nagpur and Chennai soon.
Okay. So in terms of Gurgaon, how much is left? Capex, how much is left still?
So I think it is hardly on some automation part we have left. I think 15 crore more. And yeah.
Got it, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is on the line of Ravi Naredi from Naredi Investments. Please go ahead.
Sir, Chandarji, thank you again. Just I would like to know, TCI Express carrying $10 billion business. So how you calculate the value?
So we get the value from the customer. We get the invoices. So what kind of amount of these invoices we carrying in a year, we are calculating that way.
10 billion value of the goods?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rahul Agarwal from L&T Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. So my question is more to understand what the industry growth has been, because when I look at your sales number, it is pretty much the same what you had in FY20 second quarter. So should we assume that industry was also flattish at that from that level and you have retained your market share, or how is it?
Chandra sir?
We have actually, if you see comparison, we have not retained, we've actually grown it also, not just retained it. And last year, most of the companies they were negative in top line. And, and this year also, okay, companies may not show a top line negative in a large way, but I do not see them showing a very high growth also. So I think in all, where the kind of performance that we have done this year is something which it will happen when the economy improves. It will always show that. So yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
So in summary, what you're saying is that industry has degrown from those last couple of years back, and
Absolutely.
you have gained market share.
Absolutely. If you even see I was reading that our India's per capita GDP has reduced from $1,900 to $1,500 because of the lockdown and stuff. So in all, there has been degrowth everywhere, not just in logistics.
And going ahead, when you say that this industry per se, you are seeing much better growth than GDP, so then there's a change in the trend that we have seen, is what you're saying.
That is not a trend that is not a change in the trend, because this virus and all that was just a blip. And how many companies have managed to not deteriorate their balance sheet and come out stronger, that has to be seen. So a blip, if you can survive, anyone can survive that, that means that it's a good going. Sorry, go ahead.
So my second question was for the operating expense part. So like 2 years back, you were at somewhere around 71%. Today, you are at 68%. So this benefit, where has it come from and how much of it is sustainable?
Mukti? Summary I can give you, it's price increase, operational efficiency, better asset utilization, so I think all of these factors remain the same for us. There has never been any change.
So this number should be sustainable.
Absolutely. We've made it sustainable for 5 years and grow only. So I think, yeah.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Radha from B&K Securities. Please stay connected.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. I just wanted to ask what kind of market size are we targeting for these value-added services of cold chain, Rail Express, and CTC business?
We have yet to get the market size of these businesses, But if you look at the investor presentation, the main component rail cargo, if you see, is the next biggest chunk of mode of transportation in India. So if 70% is surface, rail cargo I think is about maybe almost another 20% or something, 25%. So if you compute the GDP from that, we have to further dissect it and see what is the cargo volume going on it. So looking at that, I think I should be able to put that in the presentation next time. I do not have the complete data on my hands right now.
Okay, sir. So just one more question. What is the number of owned and leased sorting centers as of now, and what would it be in the next 3 years?
Yeah. So right now, yeah, please.
Go ahead, Mukti.
Yeah. So right now we had total number is 28 sorting center. Out of that, 10 we own right now, and 18 are on a lease basis. And I think in next 3 years at least we want to be convert major 5, one like in Kolkata, Nagpur, Chennai, and 1 or 2 more cities.
Yeah. So those 5 will be owned.
Yeah. So then this number become 15 is own one, and 13 is lease one.
Okay. So the total number of sorting centers remain same, but owned increase. Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mukesh Saraf from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. My question is again on the rail business. So while you're mentioning that you're right now targeting the air cargo business, is this the air cargo business that you are right now handling? Because I think you do still generate about 5% of revenues on air cargo.
No, this is the competition business that we are capturing.
Okay. So the kind of transit times on rail, because we're talking about say 48 hours, 72 hours kind of transit time on rail, but air cargo currently, like someone like what a Blue Dart does, is probably less than a day. It's probably 12 hours, 16 hours. It's less than a day. So how are we going to compete with air cargo like someone like what a Blue Dart is doing?
Mr. Manoj, right? So you have to break up the material. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So you have to break up the segment, B2B or B2C. What air cargo moves nowadays, maximum is B2C.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure also how much of that is going, and also courier, documents and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not focusing that business. We are focusing not the same day and all that. We are focusing on B2B, which can easily be substituted. We are already doing it. It's a good development that has happened. So I think should not be I'll see good growth next year for sure.
Okay. Got it. And so currently the way it works is you're saying that you're going to be kind of booking a wagon for like a dedicated wagon on the rail, and that wagon is for
Mukti.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are not looking for the complete wagon. and rather we are buying the space from the railway and other vendors and then putting our material in that.
Okay. Got it. So, could you give some sense on how many routes you've already started now on this rail express business, and probably how many routes you want to add, say, in the next year or 2 years?
Yeah, it is very good question. So almost I think we have already crossed 35 routes in India, and we have a plan to have at least 100, to reach to 100 by this year end. And that's why it is a very, very good business, and it is across India like we are doing in surface, because there is no challenge like, in India we don't have the airport everywhere, but we have the rail connection everywhere. And that's why Chandraji has rightly mentioned, it is a business of B2B, which is we are targeting, and from air. And with the transit time is, customer is happy with that. Because we have to be, connection from door to door. What you are talking are like 12-hour or 16-hour or 18-hour services. It is just like an airport to airport for metro cities.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much for this clarification. Got it.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Ankit, who is an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. So I just wanted to ask, at peak utilization, what can be total revenue, say for the full year? Annually, what revenue can we achieve?
Yeah, so this is not like this. Whatever capacity we have, this is a vendor managed capacity. In terms of trucks, I am talking about. So right now we have utilization level of 85.5%. Maximum we can be reach on a 90%, but yes, revenue, once gradually revenue will increase, we will be keep adding our truck capacity as well. So this is not on any hindrance of that. Actually, it is increasing once business is also increasing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Abhijit from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question, and congrats to the team on starting Rail Express. It looks very impressive from the outside, especially with the advent of DFC and the increasing share that rail is supposed to take. Just one short clarification. What about the loading and unloading infra, and how does that fit into your overall aim of delivering packages in a time-defined manner?
Let me explain you one thing. This Rail Express will not be piggybacking on the DFC. DFC is for container load, which is for EXIM and for commodities. So we are going to be using the passenger traffic, which are all across India, passenger traffic trains, which are all across India. So our value proposition is very different. Number one. Number two, what was your question?
Yeah, so I was asking that, given the existing loading and unloading infra, how does that fit in your plan of...
Yeah. So we have a very clear-cut system of how we do this. We have branch offices, whichever is near the railway station, does the pickup and delivery. And the rail itself, when you're going to the railway station, it's a direct, they have a separate entrance for the cargo loading and unloading, and our trucks go straight to that platform. So we don't need to really even touch the passenger platform. And the beauty is that because we are in this express segment, we can do from any of the railway stations in the city. If there are 3 or 4 railway stations, we can use any of those. Unlike the container cargo, where you have to do only from that particular railway station. So we have clearly, identified that the advantages of this is humongous, is massive, and we will definitely capture it.
Okay, great. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Lokesh Manik from Vallum Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Chandra and Mukti. My question was on, again, Rail Express front. In your experience, has there been any barrier that prevented us or any other player in the past from exploring this service offering? Passenger trains are there since decades now. Were there any barriers to entry in the sense of operational, in terms of operations, in terms of processing documents, or trains, delay in the train arrivals and all those things? So has anything changed since the past?
So I'll explain you. So we have actually we have bypassed the bureaucracy in handling the containers. There is more bureaucracy in when you're putting a container, or when you're using Concor or anything like that. It's very bureaucratic. But in our case, it's straightforward. So we have identified that opportunity. And moreover, one of the biggest reason of starting this, was the fact that conversion of air cargo into rail cargo. Now, this is something which is going to be very important for long-term sustainability. We all know that air cargo is not going to increase in India because till now, with all the new airports coming up and all, cargo facilities are still at the back end. There is never any mention of that. If you look at Delhi airport also, you look at Bombay, the new Navi airport coming up, or Chennai or anywhere else, there is no provision for air cargo, sadly. Okay. Therefore, I do see the massive shift happening and the demand for the rail express also coming up.
All right, but have you guys been able to crack the bureaucratic system which can create a barrier for someone else to do this?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Have you, in the sense that have you been able to figure out how to implement this service offering, and at the same time, it can be a barrier for someone else to start rail offering in there?
India is a country where it's a cut, copy, paste country. If we are doing something, tomorrow there will be somebody announcing the same thing. Okay. Right. How much of that they will be able to do is up to them. They'll do it, but they'll do it in a very dirty manner, at maybe free cost or something. Tomorrow you will hear 3-4 other companies also saying we are also doing it. But for that, you need to have a team, you need to have people on the ground, you need to have branch offices.
Right.
So all that, I think, will be in, a barrier to entry to some extent for a long time. Okay. And I think if we play our cards right, which we are, we will be the preferred choice of partner for most companies.
Okay. And you would be exploring to integrate this into your other offerings, like door-to-door?
This is already door-to-door.
Okay. So you can alternate between road and railway depending on
No, we don't do it that way. We don't approach our road customer for going to, rail, because the pricing is different. We are clear-cut in our strategy. We'll only go for very large air cargo company customers. That's all we're going to be doing.
No, what I meant was this service offering will remain independent of other service offerings. So
absolutely. Every mode,
right,
you cannot mix and match.
Okay.
Because there's pricing and there is also operational issues and all of that, and commitment to the customer. So from that point of view, it's important to note that substitution is not a possibility. What is there can be done. Okay, one more thing. You can go from high price to low price. You can go from air cargo to rail cargo. But no customer will want to go from low price to high price.
Correct.
From road to rail.
Correct. Okay. And just one last question. The air cargo space, you would be having any idea in terms of distribution between B2B and B2C?
No, we don't have the data yet. I'll get it out. And also, we will target all these airlines also with their companies which are giving belly space and all that.
Right.
We're going to target all that in a big way. And also, and there are no other players, there are no players in the air cargo market. So it is on the decline. And so better to grab these customers and ship them to rail cargo.
Makes sense. Right. That's it from my side, Chandra. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question that we took. I'll now hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments.
Thank you everyone for joining us here today.
I would like to conclude by saying that we are witnessing improved economic activities and life returning to normalcy with the vaccinations, increased awareness and better preparedness of the masses and the businesses. We remain optimistic of the economic scenario of the country and confident in our strong value proposition to deliver sustainable operational and financial performance. I look forward to meeting you again next quarter. Please stay safe and healthy, and feel free to reach out in case any questions remain unanswered. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, members of the management. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of ICICI Securities, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.